Ahoy, welcome back to another video. It's the end of September. We are 3/4 of the way through the year, and that means it's time for me to talk about my favorite games of the month for the month of September. If you don't know what this is, every month I'm recanting all the games I played for that last month, trying to help build myself a living game of the year list, and talk about some games that might not get the same amount of attention at the end of the year, so every game can get some talking to as the year goes on. So let's just jump into my favorite games of this month. It was a busy month of September, lots of games. I made a video at the beginning of the month talking about the games I was excited for. Now we're talking about my thoughts on a lot of those games. We'll start off with the ones I haven't got to play a whole lot of. First things first, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I picked this up on launch day, but I had a couple days, so I've only been put about 45 minutes in this game, so I don't have a whole lot of thoughts about it. I am very excited about it though. So I'll have more to talk about that next month. And then another game I was excited about is Epic Mickey Rebrushed. Have not started that either, but in the mail today I got this big old thing, which is the, I guess the collector's edition. I don't know what it's actually called. I'm just going to call it the collector's edition. But excited to open this up because it's got a nice Mickey statue and a statue there. Got a steel book, some other shenanigans. And I've never played Epic Mickey before, so I'm really excited to try it out. I've been a fan of Disney my whole life. I grew up watching Mickey Mouse, and I never played Epic Mickey actually, but I do love 3D platformers, so I'm excited to give that one a try. Alrighty, so let's jump into the games that I actually have played that came out this month. So, a few other games. First one I want to talk about is one that came out earlier in the month. I think it was on the 12th. I played it through PlayStation Plus Extra, and that is The Plucky Squire. Plucky Squire is a game from All Possible Futures, published by Devolver Digital. If you haven't seen this game, the biggest thing that stands out for this game is its art style. The art style is from a creator named James Turner. Look him up on Twitter. He's got some really nice art. Draws a lot of like familiar characters that I like, a lot of Nintendo characters, a lot of Sonic characters, in a very distinct art style. And that art style is the focus of a lot of what the Plucky Squire is. So the game plays a lot like a 2D Zelda, top-down Zelda, in that you walk around on a top-down space. You got a little sword swing, you've got a roll, and you're solving little puzzles and stuff like that. But the big twist of the game is you're working in and out of a book, a storybook, and in this book you can kind of control the words on the page to make things actually happen in the game. So a lot of the puzzles come down from the book will say like, the bridge was broken, and then you knock off the word broken, and then you find a word hidden over there that says the bridge was, and you put the other word wide, and you get a wide bridge that appears where the broken bridge was. So a lot of the game is little gimmicks like that. If you've played a game or heard of a game called Baba Is You, a little puzzle game like that, it's got some of that energy. So that's a lot of the puzzles you'll be solving on the 2D top-down parts of the game. But then also it has an element where you come out of the book, and that's a big part of the story is you coming out of the book to fix problems outside the book, to contain the problems that are inside the book, trying to escape, and yada yada yada. Play the game, you'll learn the rest. But when you come out of the book, it turns into a bit like a it's a 3D. It plays a lot like still kind of like a top-down 2D Zelda, but you are in a 3D space now. The jump has a little bit more depth to it and a little bit more usefulness, but you still are kind of playing a top-down Zelda for the most part, just a different appearance. It looks 3D because it has 3D graphics in that, but you go in and out of the book, solving puzzles. It's a pretty charming little story. Not too difficult. Some cute moments, some funny moments. For the most part, I would say the gameplay itself is good. Good to very good. Presentation I thought was great. I really liked the art style and the music and all that, but the gameplay itself was a little on the simpler side most of the time. Puzzles were pretty creative, but the gameplay was pretty straightforward, top-down Zelda stuff. But what helped the game was it would mix up the gameplay style. Sometimes there'd be little mini games or challenges or boss fights that would sneak in elements of other video game genres. And while those were all neat to experience, none of them, outside of the shock factor and the initial surprise, did a whole lot for me. They were pretty straightforward versions of those things. So kind of think of it like a jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. It did a lot of things very good, did a few things very great in my opinion. Like I said, presentation is fantastic. I enjoyed looking at the game and seeing the art come off the page, and all that was really nice. And the game was fun and enjoyable and serviceable all the way throughout. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this game turned out. Like I said, I played it through PS Plus Extra, so I played it digitally. I'll probably eventually get a physical version. I know, I think Limited Run is making a physical version. I'm not sure when or if I'll get that, but I'll definitely consider it, because I did enjoy the game. I did. Yeah, on to the next game I played this month, that came out this month. One that came out, I believe, the same day, and that is Inotria: The Last Song. This is a Souls-like game from independent developer Jama Games, Jyamma. They're an Italian studio. I made a video that was released recently about my first 10 hours for this game, kind of going into a little more depth in some of the mechanics and what I like and what I think. There are a few things that I don't like, but I do kind of go into things I like and don't like. But to talk a little bit to it here, it is a Souls-like through and through. If you play a Dark Souls game, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, you'll be pretty familiar here. It's a third-person action RPG. You have your lock-on, your R1, R2s for the light and heavy attacks. You have a little dodge, and you're going to go from checkpoint to checkpoint, fighting enemies, and eventually getting to a boss that blocks your path, and you beat the boss and get items, level up, all that stuff. It's got a lot of the familiar concepts. You level up with a currency that goes away if you die, and the things you can level up are different stats that all do different things, and then your weapons require certain amounts of each of those stats, and they level up. They level up. The weapons increase their damage and stuff based off of the level of those stats, the scaling factor. One thing that this game that I really like from the combat wise, enemy combat, the enemies, their movements, sometimes they can feel a little stiff. The player feels fun to control, the player character. I really like the parry in this game. It's pretty parry heavy. Not quite as parry heavy as something, say, like Sekiro, but definitely more parry heavy than the other FromSoft games. You are definitely incentivized to use that L1 button to block most of the damage coming your way. And if you parry it correctly, you take no damage. And there's a big parry meter that builds up as you parry them. And when that fills up, you can get a nice critical hit, do lots of damage. And for some enemies, that's like the best way to do damage. It's almost not worth to chip them down. It's really just you want to build that parry and get the critical hit on them. So I've been enjoying that a lot. But while the combat is serviceable to good and with a good parry function I like, the real thing I really have been enjoying is the exploration. I got the whole first couple areas, pretty much everything I could think of there, explored every corner I could find. I'm in like the second main area now, second main mandatory area, I believe. And I'm really enjoying exploring these levels because it's not like some games where you have a main path and then an optional path, and the optional path goes on for like a minute and then it ends in like a chest, and then the main path continues in a critical path. No, like the areas I'm finding here are so in depth, and they go to so many more places, which lead to more optional areas, lead to more paths and more hidden things. It's not just like a quick dead end that you turn around and double back to. It's like you're finding important, thought out new areas that are leading to more optional things, and I believe some optional bosses. I'm assuming some of these bosses are optional. but I'm really liking it. The opening like town that you explore weaves and folds back in itself in a lot of cool ways, and I was really enjoying exploring that place. The game looks pretty. I'm playing on performance mode. There's performance and fidelity mode. Fidelity mode did. I can't do fidelity mode in these Souls games. It feels a little too herky-jerky for me. And for the most part in performance mode, the graphics and the visual fidelity is still pretty good. As far as like enemies and main points of interest still look pretty good. If you look in the distance, things get really muddy. But I'm not really ever looking in the backgrounds of these things. When I'm running, I'm kind of, you know, blinders forward, looking at the enemy or looking at what I'm looking at. I'm not really worried about you know, some mountain way off in the distance. And, you know, if I do stop and get kind of take in the scenery, sometimes it can be like, oh, that doesn't look fantastic over there, but that's kind of a nitpick. Yeah, I think the game's great. I'm excited about it. Continuing on, like I said, I'm about 10 hours in. I'm not really sure how long the game is for certain. I can kind of take a guess. I still got plenty of game left in front of me, so I am looking forward to that. So yeah, Notria, the last song. Fun, independently made, Souls-like. Let's see, the next one I want to talk about this month is a game called Elsie. Elsie is an indie roguelite platformer action game I got on the Switch. The developer is escaping me at this moment. I'll try to put it here on the bottom if I can remember. But this game interested me. I liked the art style, and it's an indie game. I'm trying to play more indie games, and this game got my attention a few months ago. I've been looking forward to it. It's got kind of like a futuristic aesthetic. You play as, like, I believe you're a cyborg or a android or whatever the proper term is. You're a robot girl, and you know you have a distance projectile attack as your base attack. And it plays like a platforming Metroidvania like roguelite. You have a pretty good. The jump does feel really good. You have a really nice distance jump that feels good to control. You have a wall jump. You have a dash. I think there's like a parry and a block. The thing about this game though is I was playing it on launch day and I was having a good time with it. I was doing a few runs, getting some of that story, getting some upgrades, and then something happened. I don't know what exactly happened, but I was getting some very, very poor performance in the Switch. The game has a option in the settings to turn on the current frames per second you're getting. You know, it'll say on the side of the screen, it'll say like 60 FPS. And you know, most of the time it was locked at that. It would say 60 FPS. And then I got something going on where in one area I would get a little further in, and when I would shoot the weapon, use my weapon at enemies, when there was more enemies in the screen, the FPS would start to drop. And you know, when it's dropping like 45, whatever, you know, a little bit of frame drops doesn't really bother me that much. It still is fun to control. But it was dropping down to like the 20s and then the teens and then the single digits. And then for a while there, it was dropping to literally less than 1 frame per second. And the game was just a slideshow. And it was doing that. I was like, okay, maybe something's wrong with this run. I'll turn the game off. I'll turn it back on. I'll try again. And then it kept doing that. So I put the game down for a few days. I saw on Twitter that they were there's like, okay, we're putting out a patch. We're putting patches out. The game will get fixed. We're aware of the problems, yada yada. But I put the game down and I put it down for a few days, and I saw they put out a patch. So I turned the game on and I did a run, and it felt like it was working better. But by that point, the Plucky Squire had already come out, and No Tree had already come out. I had some other stuff I was playing, and I just kind of lost steam with Elsie. I'm still looking forward to going back to it. I've been pretty heavy on the PlayStation this month. So once I get back into playing the Switch more, I'll start turning on Elsie and getting back into that, because I was enjoying it. It just kind of lost steam because of the performance issues I was having. But it seems like it's going to be a good game. And then last but not least, my favorite game I played this month, the game of September for me so far, assuming Zelda. Zelda could very well be the game of the month when it's all said and done, but the one that is currently the game of the month, a game that is very deserving of that title, is Astrobot on the PlayStation 5. This game was phenomenal. If you've been around the internet the last month, you've probably seen people sing its praises. Really solid 3D platformer. Lots of cool cameos and callbacks to PlayStation and its history. Some good Easter eggs and all that. Very well-performing game. A game that uses the DualSense very well. Really cheery, catchy music. Really nice visuals. I can't really say anything negative about the game. I personally am not in the "this is my game of the year" camp. It's definitely at the moment. I believe it's in my top 5. You know, I think it might be my 4th or 5th on my list right now. But it's not like a game of the year for me. It is a very, very good game. I enjoyed a lot. But I think when I reflect on it, and when I'm playing the game, I'm having a blast. It was constantly fun to find all the hidden bots, find all the secrets, explore the levels. But looking back on it, the levels were very good, but I think Astrobot's tool set just isn't quite like top tier 3D platformer for me. When I think of my favorite 3D platformers, I think of one of my favorite games ever made, and that's Super Mario Odyssey. That game, I feel like, has so much movement options, and you can be so creative, with your triple jumps, your wall jumps, your hat throws, your dives, your bounces, your hat throws into dive to bounce off that. There's so much movement expression in that game that I'm really spoiled with, that when I have a game like Astrobot, it's really solid, and the platforming, the level design is really fun, but you just got basically the Mario Sunshine, glide, hover, and you can't really get super expressive with that. The expression in this game comes from, some of the upgrades, some of the abilities, and then the actual the things in front of you, and that's all very well done. And the bosses were great. I had a blast every time the bosses showed up, but just the actual moving around with the character itself. Astrobot is great, but not like top amazing tier for me personally. But I really can't say anything bad about it though. The themed levels, which I won't spoil in case people are still playing the game, the themed levels that were like more based around a specific franchise were all lovely. Some of the music is still stuck in my head. There's one song in particular I won't spoil because it's in one of those themed levels that I was actually just looking up on YouTube and listening at work because it was so good. This game, I was never not happy or not excited when playing this, and it did something that I hope it can do for others, in that this game to me is kind of acting like what Smash Brothers is for Nintendo. Just like brand familiarity. Awareness of like certain properties that you might not have played their games of, just putting things in front of you. Like, I wonder how that game is. I wonder what revisiting that game would be like. And because of that, I've already gone back and started utilizing my PlayStation Plus Premium more to play some older games. Things that come to mind, I've downloaded a game I never would have downloaded before called Mr. Mosquito that I'm excited to try out. There's some other games that aren't even in this game. One called Jeanne d'Arc that I'm really excited to try out. And just being excited to try out these PlayStation Premium games, being excited about that makes me want to go back and play more of those games, put more time into them. And then one game that is in this game, pretty heavily represented, that is on PS Plus Premium, is another game I played this month, and that's Ape Escape. So before I get into Ape Escape, just to finalize, this was my favorite game of September, Astrobot, and that is the last game I played that came out during this month. So I'm going to jump into the non-September games, and I'm going to jump into Ape Escape because I just brought it up. But Ape Escape is a game on that PlayStation Plus Premium that I've always heard I would enjoy. I've been told by friends that they like it and that I would like it, and it's just one of those things I never got around to playing. And the combination of Astrobot and then my friends Craig and Tyler wanting to play it for our podcast, our bi-weekly podcast, Generations Behind, I finally got around to trying Ape Escape. And I enjoyed that game as well. It's a 3D puzzle platformer, which, you know, right up my alley. You play as, I think his name is Spike. He's got spiky red hair, and you run around primarily with a magical time net, and you're recapturing escaped apes on these 3D environments that have kind of taken over a mind of their own, because some other monkey got a special helmet that makes him like more sentient, and then he's like released all the apes, and now you gotta go catch all the apes. So Ape Escape is a level-based game. There's probably a few dozen levels, and you go around, you get like equipment, new equipment. The further you get in the game, they can do different things. Some are like as simple as a slingshot, letting you shoot things. Some give you more aerial mobility, like an extra jump thing, hover jump thing. You get like an RC car that you can drive around to get into hard to reach places. The things you use the most are your little like lightsaber baton to knock away enemies, and then you have your time net, which uses the main mechanic of catching the monkeys. And it's pretty neat the way you use the time net. And in general, all the other items, a lot of them are really linked to the right thumbstick, because Ape Escape was the first, I believe it was the first PlayStation game that forced you to use the DualShock back in the PS1. So if you don't know, the original PlayStation controller did not have thumbsticks. Then the DualShock added thumbsticks, and Ape Escape was really heavy into making you use those thumbsticks. They're trying to like use it in fun ways. So rather than what you think now of like moving with the left stick and then using the right thumbstick to control the camera, in Ape Escape you center the camera with the, I think it's L1, you center the camera behind you, and then you move around the left thumbstick, but the right thumbstick is used for different ways to use these gadgets. And for example, the time net is like a directional input. If you like go this way, you can just swing in any direction, behind you, in front of you, yada yada. You can do a spin attack like you expect from Zelda. And I thought it was pretty fun the ways it was using this thumbstick. I forget what it's called. The thing that makes you jump. It's like a little hover jump thing, almost like a little helicopter. You spin the thumbstick and you go, and it like spins you up. So yeah, that game was really fun. I really had a blast going through the levels. Had some pretty good. The title screen music is really solid, really unique and weird. Excuse me, really unique and weird music. But the levels are just fun, classic 3D platforming levels, and the apes are always really funny. I like seeing them when they see you coming. They react and they freak out and they start running. They're looking over their shoulder, throwing bananas at you. Really charming, funny game, and it's the kind of things I want to see more at a PlayStation. I enjoy the big, open, story-heavy, third-person, sad dad games, but it is nice to play something that feels a little bit more spirited and happy, and just more video gamey. And that's, Astrobot was great for that, great change of pace, and Ape Escape, kind of made me wish there was more of that coming from Sony. But yeah, Ape Escape is a great game. I'm glad I finally got around to playing that. I'm excited to eventually trying out the other games on PS Plus Premium. Next thing I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Red here on my Pocket. I pretty much play some amount of Pokemon every year. I'm kind of working towards finishing my Pokemon home decks right now. So I've been playing, I've been going through a lot of the Switch games, trying to catch random little stragglers that don't have my Pokedex. But also, I'm really nostalgic for the early generations of Pokemon. So pretty much every year I'll replay Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, some amount of that. And right now I'm playing through Pokemon Red. I played through Pokemon Yellow several times. I don't know if I've ever actually played all the way through original Pokemon Red. I've played a lot of it, but I primarily played Yellow as a kid, and then I got played Gold and Silver. Then I played a lot of Fire Red. I don't know if I ever actually rolled credits on Pokemon Red before. So I'm trying to do that, trying to catch as many of the Pokemon as I can. It's been fun, really simple, just a kind of like a 5-10 minute thing on the couch. Have the Pocket in hand, run around. I just beat Brock, and I'm heading through Mount Moon right now. And then the last game this month I've been playing, another one that has been continuing on throughout the year. I've been putting a lot more time into Persona 3 Reload. This is a game that I put off for a long time. I think I started it last month, and I was talking that I really enjoyed it. I'm about 30 something hours into it now. If you've played the game and this helps you gauge where I'm at, I think I'm almost into August on the calendar. Solid game. Combat is fantastic. I really enjoy the turn-based combat and the one more system, like hitting a weakness and like knocking them down and getting to do another attack. The social link elements are a lot of fun. I'm getting pretty deep into a lot of my existing social links where characters are starting to open up to me a little bit more, and they're getting a little more personal, and getting some more interesting character moments from all these side characters. Solid music. The story, in my opinion, started a little slow. Just kind of how the story is told through this game. A lot of the big moments come at certain parts of the month, we'll say. And the first couple months, it was really kind of drip feeding the story to me. Now I'm starting to get more of that story more frequently. I'm starting to get its hooks into me. So I'm starting to get really attached to wanting to play more and more of this. So hopefully I can finish it in the next month or so. Mainly because there's a game coming out in October I want to try called Metaphor Refantasio, which is from Atlas. So I've just started getting Persona, with Persona 3 being my first one, and now there's an opportunity for me to jump into a new Atlas game, and it would be really cool if I could have Persona finished the next month. I doubt I will have it in time for Metaphor with the other stuff I'm playing as well, but it would be cool, and I'm going to try my best. So yeah, those are all the games I played this month for September. Great month. Really busy month compared to some of the previous ones, but a lot of great titles. And like I mentioned, October's got a couple games I'm looking forward to. Mainly though, I'm looking forward to Metaphor Refantasio and trying to get that to a point where I can actually start that next month. But I don't think I'll be able to start it at launch. It's going to be close. But I'm excited to get there. And I think that's all I got for this month. So thanks again for watching. If you made it this far in the video, if you could throw a like on it, that would mean a lot. If you could throw a comment down mentioning the games you're playing right now, what you have been enjoying, any recommendations. Always look for recommendations, even though I'm playing too many games and I can't play everything. If you got good games that you know about and I'm not aware of them, please let me know. So yeah, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.